About the author. Would you believe me if I tell you that someone who has zero self-confidence and is shy around girls can transform into an alpha male who attracts all kinds of women anywhere he goes? You better believe it, because I am a living and breathing testimony that this can happen. Let me tell you, my story is so familiar to The Ugly Duckling, but with a lot more interesting events and plot twists. You would think the author of this famous children's tale was making a reference to my life story. Growing up, I was a shy, awkward boy with very few friends. I had crushes, but I didn't really do anything about them because of my shyness. I didn't know how to talk to girls my age. It was like this in grade school and high school. I left home and went to the university. I was still a shy college student, especially since it was a new place with new people. I didn't know anyone at school, so I just kept to myself. I only had 2 or 3 guy friends I hung out with. At this time, probably due to leaving and becoming more independent, I gained just a tiny bit of self-esteem and I dated a few girls, but no one ended up in a relationship. I was still pretty shy and I didn't follow a system, and my success rate in the dating scene was pitiful. And I knew at the time that these girls just needed something from me, whether it be a ride somewhere or help with a particularly difficult paper or project. I knew it, but I let them because what was I supposed to do? Guys like me didn't have any choice. Then I met Emily when I was 22 years old. Sure, I had crushes and had dated a couple of girls, but no one compared to Emily. She was the love of my life. She was my roommate's girlfriend's friend. We hit it off right away and started dating, and stayed together for about 3 years until we decided to move in together. Both of us were working at this point. Things were great at first, but after some time she became busy with work, and it turned me into a clingy boyfriend who always needed to know where she was and what she's doing. I don't know why, but maybe because I knew deep down that she could have someone a lot better than myself. I felt insecure and jealous all the time until she became fed up and left me. I was devastated and I thought I wouldn't be able to move on. I was lost for a year, but I started to feel better after some time. However, I knew it would be difficult for me to go back to the dating scene and try my luck again because I thought I was unlucky in love considering my past experiences with women. Until one day I found about men using pickup strategies and turning into alpha males. I had no idea that there were strategies that one could follow to become successful at dating. I decided to learn more by reading articles and watching videos about this and observing male friends who effortlessly attracted women around them. I observed, studied, took notes, and decided to give it a shot. I had nothing to lose anyway. If there is one thing that I regret about my life, it's not knowing about these techniques earlier on. From there on, I gained experience in attracting and wooing women the right way. Nowadays, I have dates with the hottest women in town left and right. I have dated corporate types, budding actresses, models, doctors, business owners, singers, and many more. Now I can choose whoever I like when, not long before, I had to settle for whoever came along. Mind you, I didn't do anything too drastic and expensive like undergoing plastic surgery or buying a sports car or a mansion to impress the ladies. I just tweaked my personality and lifestyle a tiny bit. Okay, not a tiny bit, but you get what I mean. I didn't have to do the impossible. My solution is something that anyone can do. And the good news is I decided to compile everything and write a book about it. You might ask, why am I doing this? The answer is simple. I want to help guys who are just like my old self, shy and awkward with low self-esteem. Maybe it is my mission in life to be the fairy godfather of these guys who cannot seem to find luck in dating and transform them into alpha males by letting them in on the secret. You probably belong to this group of guys if you are reading this. If so, sit back, learn, and get ready to experience a major overhaul that will turn you into a man that every woman wants to be with. Major principles and strategies that alpha males adhere to. One cannot simply become an alpha male without making an effort to be one. Sure, some guys are born with good looks and confidence, but they still do things that make them irresistible to women. You need to know the secrets that these men have so that you can become like them. The first principle that you need to know is to be consistent. Being consistent in the dating game will keep you young. What does it mean? It does not mean you remain young with age, but it means a number of other things. For one, if you're an active participant in the dating game, your techniques are more in tune with the current scene, no matter how old you are. Let's take a look at two guys who are both in their mid-30s and are currently single and are out looking for fun dates. You have one guy who has been dating continuously year after year, and the other guy who's a bit rusty because he hasn't been in the dating scene for years. Guy 1 will have an idea about the modern aspects of dating, such as creating an effective profile in Tinder or knowing what Netflix and chill means. Guy 2 would probably have an idea what Tinder means, but would not know how to use the app, and Netflix and chill for him probably means literally what it means, watching Netflix and hanging out. In this scenario, Guy 1 will have a bigger chance at getting dates because he knows how it works these days. After all, he is consistently dating, and he will know how dating strategies evolve through time and how he can use this knowledge to his advantage. And because he knows the ways of the modern dating scene, he will appear youthful to a lot of women. Women do not want to feel like they're dating their father or their grandfather because of the way you interact with them. Besides, how can you become an alpha male if you do not go out there and mingle not only with the women that you are trying to win, but also with the other guys who will become your competitors? Aside from being consistent in the dating game, you also need to go for quality. When you always go for quality, you become quality yourself. How does this work? First, let's understand what going for quality means. This does not mean discriminating women just because they do not look like a celebrity or they do not work in a big company. Being choosy like this will leave you dateless. Going for quality simply means targeting women that meet your standards. After all, why would you exert an effort on someone when you know it won't lead to a serious relationship? Unless, of course, you are just looking for a hookup. If you are in your 30s and you are looking for someone your age, why would you waste your time and effort trying to win college students when you know you are looking for something else and the wrong age is a deal breaker for you? Do not go after all the women that you see just because you're trying to increase the chances of securing the dates. This is not a lottery. And how do you become quality when you go for quality women? Simple, you hone your dating strategies and skills talking to the women who meet your standards, and after some time you will have an idea what is attractive and not attractive for them. The saying practice makes perfect is applicable in this situation. Another important principle is always to be open to anything, whether it is beneficial to you right now or in the long run. Just because a woman says she is not interested in a long-term relationship right now does not mean that you should just stop talking to her. You can still continue to hang out with her, maybe even hook up with her. Who knows, she might just change her mind and decide what she wants to have a serious relationship with you. This is something that you should definitely do if you are extremely attracted to the girl. Remember that in dating and just about any other aspect in life, patience is a virtue. You should also exude good and positive vibes. Do not be discriminatory. Do not misunderstand the previous tip about going for quality. Again, it does not mean ignoring girls just because you don't fancy them. Sure, you should now actively pursue women that you are interested in, but you should definitely make them feel interested and attractive when they initiate a conversation with you. Flirt with any woman who comes your way, but only actively pursue the ones that you know can lead to something more serious. Flirt with any women who come your way, but only actively pursue the ones that you know can lead to something more serious. Do not be intimidated to flirt with women who come from a different socio-economic background or with women from a different race. Do not think they are out of your reach or too mysterious to even try. Just talk to them and flirt with them, and you'll see that all women want from a man, no matter who she is or where she came from, is to make her feel attractive and interested. Flirt with them just for the sake of flirting and without any hidden agenda or motive, and you will be rewarded even more by the female population. Just you wait and see. And do not give up easily. When things are not going according to plan, especially if you are in unfamiliar territory, if you just move to a new place or are you trying out a new strategy, you will experience a decrease in your success rate. But remember, this will not last long. Things will improve as you become more familiar with the environment or the dating technique. Again, patience is a virtue in the dating world. To summarize the major points, you need to be consistent, go for quality, always be open, exude good and positive vibes, do not give up easily. These principles actually apply to all kinds of dating scenarios and all people of different ages and backgrounds. Identify the kind of woman you want and become the kind of man who attracts her. In dating, it takes two to tango. Cliché, but oh so true. It is never one-sided. Just because you found the girl that you think you want to marry, or at least that you want to Netflix and chill with, does not mean that's the end of the story. You also need to be the kind of man that women are attracted to. Sure, you might have found your dream girl who looks like Cara Delevingne, is a successful business owner and plays the piano, but what about you? What can you offer in return? Let's tackle this one by one. First, you need to identify the kind of girl that you want to go home with, want to date, or want to marry. Whatever your ultimate goal is, you need to have a clear picture in your head, not just her looks, which is not really that important in the long run to be completely honest, but also what she does and who she is as a person. Here are some guidelines that will help you identify the kind of women you want to meet. Age. First things first. Do you have a specific age group in mind? Some men are attracted to younger women, but not young as in a minor please, while others are attracted to women who are older. There are also men who prefer women who are the same age as them. There are varying reasons for this. I met men who are attracted to women who are a lot younger because they feel like they want to be the provider and the protector of these young ladies. Nothing wrong there as long as she is legal. I also have male friends who are into women who are 5 to 6 years their senior because they love women who are sophisticated and experienced in a lot of things. The majority of men I know want to meet women who are the same age or at least 2 to 3 years their junior. Their reason is because they want to be with someone who they consider their equal. There is no right age group when it comes to dating because it all depends on your preference. But then again, dating a minor is a big no, and maybe dating someone who is 20 years your junior or senior is a bit iffy. But each to his own, I guess. Beauty. Although personality goes a long way when it comes to building a relationship with someone, beauty is definitely an important factor, especially when meeting women for the first time. The first thing that attracts you to a woman is her appearance because you cannot determine a woman's personality without interacting with her first. And in some people it may take longer to get to know them. So initial attraction between two people is usually based on appearance. Everyone wants to date someone who is hot, gorgeous and sexy. Just keep in mind that this should not be your sole deciding factor when looking for someone to be your girlfriend. Although physical attractiveness is enough if you are just hooking up or for one night stand. Apart from these two factors, you can also use the checklist below to know the kind of woman that you want to date. Smart. Nobody wants to date a bimbo or someone who's lacking in the brain department because it will get boring fast. Although this does not really matter if you are just looking for someone to hook up with. Believe it or not, there are some men who like to date airheads because it makes them feel superior, but don't be this kind of man. You want to date someone who can hold her end of the conversation without any problem. She does not necessarily have to have a PhD or be a rocket scientist, although it's also fine if that's what you want. As long as she knows the basic stuff and is up to date with what's happening around her, she'd be fine. And if you want an intelligent woman, you need to be prepared to have intelligent conversations that do not just revolve around the weather or gossip. You need to match her intelligence, not in the literal sense, as you do not really need to know everything about anything if she is into that kind of stuff. Asking intelligent questions and being simply knowledgeable about a variety of topics will go a long way. You can read up on current events online or watch the news. Men who love to read are also very attractive to these types of women. So if you're not an avid reader, you should become one. You can start by reading classic books that you can insert while having conversations with these types of women. And if you simply want a woman who is a smart conversationalist, then you should also be one by always keeping up to date with current events and having a desire to always learn about things. Women who know about a lot of stuff and are considered as intelligent can often be found in libraries or bookstores. Women who are smart in the sense that they can hold an interesting conversation can be found anywhere. Healthy. I've yet to meet a man who is actively seeking for a woman who is sickly or has an illness. Of course men would want to date women who are healthy. These women love to exercise and eat healthy because they are conscious about their health. Healthy women have great bodies because they always work out and eat balanced meals. They are also fun to be with and can do most physical activities because they are in great shape. On the other hand, there are those women who are obsessed about their weight, and you should not confuse these with healthy women because there is a big difference. A healthy woman will treat herself to a slice of cake or an ice cream from time to time, but a woman who is obsessed about her weight will always say no to such treats. It is no fun to date a weight-obsessed woman because all she will ever think about is her weight. Plus, it would be a nightmare to take her out for dinner. And how can you find a healthy woman if you are not healthy yourself? First, you need to not only improve your health, but also the way you carry yourself. Slouching and frowning will make you look like you are not in great shape. Always sit and stand straight and put a smile on your face. And it goes without saying, always exercise and eat healthy. Healthy women who are looking for men like them will not be attracted to someone who has a beer belly or someone who smokes, so quit your bad habits before you go out and approach these women. You will mostly likely find them working out at the gym, jogging outside, eating at a vegan restaurant, or shopping at Trader Joe's or Whole Foods. Funny. If you want a woman who has a sense of humor, you are one of the millions of men who want the same thing. Men find funny girls sexy and confident. After all, you cannot crack jokes or laugh at yourself if you do not have a high self-esteem. Funny women are fun to be with, obviously. Being with her is always full of laughter, but keep in mind that you might find it more difficult to steer your conversation to something more serious and intimate if you're always laughing. So when you find a break from all the laughing and joking, you can start a more serious conversation with her. Funny women are also intelligent, but in a light-hearted kind of way, unlike the intelligent types who are not into neuroscience or quantum physics. You can match their humor by not being serious all the time. One word of caution, though, is to not be funny at the expense of others. Do not ever make fun of other people just to make her laugh. Chances are she will not appreciate that kind of humor and she will find you mean and douchey. Funny women are everywhere, and you will usually find them with a group of friends because they love their audience. There are also quiet women who are funny when you get to talk to them and they feel comfortable enough to show you their real side. Reliable. This is a difficult trait to gauge, especially when you just met the woman for the first time. But you can check for telltale signs if someone is reliable. For instance, if she has a regular stable job and is supporting herself without any problem, she is most likely a reliable person. Another sign if she does not get herself too drunk while she is out with friends, which means she wants to be in her right mind when in public. If you see her outside babysitting children or walking several dogs in the park, she is probably reliable because she can be trusted with small children and pets. You cannot really tell the first time you talk to her, but you can definitely search for clues that will give you an idea if she is a reliable person. If you want someone who is reliable, maybe someone who is working and earning money for herself, then you should also be a reliable man who supports himself. It's just too embarrassing if you're still living with your parents because you do not have a job. Before I went back to the dating game, I decided to change jobs and become a DJ because it not only became a cool job that helps me to meet ladies, but it also pays well, especially if you have good connections. It helps put food on my table and I get perks like tickets to events and concerts which I share with my family and friends. You can find reliable women in classes, the library or seminars. Women who enjoy going to the bar does not necessarily make them unreliable. They probably just want to have fun. So be on the lookout, even in these kinds of places. Honest. Who doesn't want an honest person, even just to be friends with? More so if you want to date that person. However, this is probably even more difficult to tell on the first meeting, because how can you tell if someone is not being honest, unless she flat out tells a lie? The trick here is to pay attention to what she is saying, and notice those things that do not match. Remember, you can catch a liar in her own web of lies. She might forget her story because she is not telling the truth. Another way to tell if she is not an honest person is by simply observing. If she mentions in passing that she dated 2 guys at the same time in the past, it is possible that she might do this again in the future. Or something as simple as exaggerating things just to make herself look more interesting can be a sign of dishonesty. Stay away from this type of woman because she will only cause you trouble and heartache. Someone is honest does not get her story wrong because there are no right or wrong stories for her, only real stories that actually happen. She does not make up her fantastical stories just to impress a man. To attract women who are honest, you should also be honest about yourself. Do not pretend to be someone you are just to impress a girl because you will get caught out sooner or later. Believe me, I tried this before. I pretended to have read a book that a girl I liked asked about, and ended up looking like a fool because it was her favorite book and she was so excited to find someone who liked it as well. only to realize that I was lying after saying vague and generic replies to her enthusiastic questions about the book. These women can see through your pickup lines and will immediately know that you are talking to her because you're attracted to her. When approaching them, just be straightforward and don't play any games. Honest women are everywhere. All you need to do is look. Respectable. In this time and age of modern dating, of swiping left or right on Tinder, of inviting someone to just Netflix and chill, of simply wanting to hook up, can you still find a respectable woman who values herself? Yes, of course, there are still plenty of women who respect themselves and who do not act slutty. It is easy to find respectable women by simply looking at them. It is not just what they are wearing, but how they behave. Drinking too much and dirty dancing with just about any men on the dance floor can be considered slutty. Making out with men she just met 3 seconds ago is not the behavior of a respectable woman. Someone who is respectable carries herself with quiet dignity and is not loud and obnoxious. She has class and sophistication that a lot of men find attractive. Respectable women have a high standard when it comes to men. They want men who they can be proud of. Having a regular stable job is a sign of respectability because you are working your ass off to support yourself without the help of others. You also need to be respectable with not only women but other people around you. Being respectful and being respectable may not be the same, but they surely go in hand. Respectable women can also be found anywhere, even in clubs and bars. You will just see them in the sidelines quietly sipping on their cocktail drinks and simply observing people around them. They do not want to make a fool of themselves, so they do not drink beyond their capacity. Sexy. Being sexy is a lot more than having the perfect body figure. It is also about the way she carries herself, her intelligence, and also her confidence. Do you want to date someone who is sexy? Of course you do. Just like every man I met. Someone who is sexy knows what she wants and goes after what she wants. She also knows what she can offer. Sexy is also having a figure that all women want to have and men lust after. She can wear the most conservative outfit but still exudes sex appeal because of the way she carries herself. If you want to meet someone like this, be prepared to lose your mind. Just kidding. Be prepared to be the kind of man who can handle all this sexiness. You need to be confident about yourself and not be insecure because these women attract all kinds of men. You will have a lot of competition and if you want to win, you need to have an edge over all of them. This kind of woman is the female version of the alpha male or the alpha female. You need to become the alpha male if you want to conquer the alpha female, because otherwise you don't stand a chance. You can find these magnificent creatures anywhere. Be ready. You will notice them a mile away because they ooze confidence and sex appeal. You will also notice a lot of men eyeing her, but only a few will make a move because you will not be intimidated, thinking that she is beyond their reach. This should be you. You are an alpha male and you can definitely go up to her and start a conversation and ultimately take her home with you. You can be attracted to other traits and personalities that are not included in this list. The most important thing is that you know what you want and you go after it. Although they give you an idea about how you should improve yourself based on the type of woman you are looking out for, you should also know some helpful tips that will improve your inner game or the rules that you set for yourself to become an alpha male that every woman wants to be with. Inner game. What is inner game? It is all about how you feel about yourself and your lifestyle manifested. Your inner game is just as important as your outer game. Outer game is the dating strategy that you use to attract your target females. To give you an idea, my inner game was to change my boring job to something more exciting, that brings me closer to ladies and pays more. And so I became a DJ. My family thought I was out of my mind because never in their entire lives did they ever think that I would become a DJ. But here I am, and I'm loving every minute of it. Not just because of the ladies, although that's a big factor, but also because I really love what I'm doing right now. It is important to change not only for the sake of attracting women, but also because it is something that you really want for yourself. This will give you more confidence because you will be on your path doing what you love. In turn, it will be reflected in your outward life. Be proud of what you do and stay committed to your job. It is emphasized here that you should be cool despite being successful because a lot of men focus too much on work and forget to have fun. As they say, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. You can be successful, but you do not need to be too serious or you will be no fun at parties. Someone who loves his job and is proud of it is always a plus in women's books because they do not want to be with whiners who always complain about his workload or his boss. But going back to dating, what are the things that you need to do to become an alpha male? Alpha males have certain qualities about them that set them apart from ordinary guys. The first thing is to know the kind of self-image that you wish to portray. In this case, you want people to see you as someone who has self-confidence and who can get any woman he sets his eyes on. And to be able to make people see you like this, you first need to see yourself the way you want others to see you. But how? You need to feel it inside of you. You have probably heard of athletes talking about their game, when they can see nothing else but the ball in slow motion, and everything else, the ball, the opponent, is not part of the picture. They can feel their talent, strength, and skill as they go towards the ball. They are in the zone and nothing else matters but achieving the goal. This is what alpha males feel when they talk to women that they want to meet. The only thing they see, their target, the woman, and everything else is a blur. And even the men can feel this sense of power and confidence. And this is what makes an alpha male an alpha male. Women flock all over them and men look up to them for advice or guidance and want to be on their good side. To improve your self-image, you need to experience being in that zone where it's just you, your prowess, and the woman. Once you experience this, it will greatly boost your self-confidence and you will start to have a better view of yourself. Experience is the key to unlocking this. However, keep in mind that there is a fine line between confidence and arrogance, and you do not want to confuse the two. Alpha males are not douchebags who strut around thinking that they own the world and everything else is beneath them. That's not how it is with them, which is why a lot of men look up to these guys unlike arrogant douchebags who end up having a lot of enemies because of their narcissistic attitudes. Think about James Bond. He is the type of guy that attracts all the ladies, but men admire him. When there is a problem, people go to him because they know that he can solve it. He is confident, not arrogant. You also need to lose your ego, because if you are controlled by your ego, then you cannot call yourself an alpha male, because an alpha male knows their limitations. They know that they are not gods who can do anything. Being controlled by your ego is a sign of weakness. You need to know how to bow down at the right time, get out of your way to take responsibility of your actions, especially if you make a mistake. Saying sorry and admitting you are wrong is a sign of strength. This is where a lot of men fail. They think that admitting they are wrong will be the end of them, when it is not. You also need to learn how to set boundaries and not take any shit from others. Do not be the nice guy all the time, or you end up being friend-zoned by these ladies, or worse, you will be treated as a doormat. Remember that the way people treat you reflects on the way you value yourself. Love yourself first before you love others. Take my word for it, because I have been there before. When I was still a student at university, girls just came to me when they needed something, and I let them because I didn't know any other way to attract girls. But when I finally decided that I'd had enough of that kind of treatment, more girls wanted to talk to me. When they know that you don't take shit from others, they feel safe with who you are. They love that kind of power and confidence in a man. And while you are in the process of changing yourself, you'll hear a lot of criticism from other people around you. Sometimes from people you are close to, because they are used to the kind of person you used to be. Changing something about yourself, especially something major like changing your job or your personality, is hard to swallow for most of them. Those people who matter, those who are your real friends, will stay with you and support you, especially when they find out the reason behind these changes. They will be shocked at first and will even show signs of disapproval, but at the end of the day they will still be there for you. On the other hand, your so-called friends who cannot and do not want to understand what you are going through will permanently leave, and good riddance, if I may say so myself. Fuck what other people think, because they don't really matter. What's important is the outcome of all your efforts and the changes that you are going to do in your life. Always remind yourself that improving yourself far exceeds the opinion of these people who don't really matter in your life. Just ignore them, because you cannot please everybody. Have confidence in yourself. By believing that you can get any girl that you want, you might think that this is arrogance, but this is just the mantra that you can say to yourself every day when you wake up. You don't really need to shout this to the whole world so everyone can hear. Just keep it to yourself as a daily reminder. This is especially useful when you are feeling low. Not every day will be a good day. There will be times when you feel like giving up, but just continue with what you have started, because you are the shit. Always psych yourself up when self-doubt starts to kick in, because you do not want to drown in it. In connection with having confidence, you should also man the fuck up. How do you do this? No, I'm not telling you to go out and pick fights with random strangers. That's not the definition of manning up. It means you need to face your fears. For instance, if you're afraid to go up to a girl and strike a conversation with her, you need to overcome this fear if you want to be considered an alpha male. Don't be a pussy. Just think of her as another human being that you are talking to. Nothing too scary about that, right? Another example of manning up is facing your responsibilities. If you got a girl pregnant, you need to man up and face your responsibility by supporting the child and not hiding your child from your prospective dates. Be a man and face the consequences of your actions. My experience is also a good example of what not to do. When my then girlfriend was too busy with work, I whined and complained about it until she got fed up and broke up with me. Real men don't do this because they feel secure and they understand that their girlfriend's world does not revolve around them. But now when a girl tells me she is busy at work, that's why she wasn't able to reply right away, I will simply say it's okay and no need to apologize, which is exactly what I feel. Don't be a whiny pussy who does not know what to do when his girl is not with him. Go out and get a life. You will see she will love you even more. As a person, you should also know your value, so that you can only accept the right kind of treatment from others. If you know your worth, you will not allow people to treat you any less. Always think that your value is at its maximum and it will not be touched or affected by outside factors. Just because you're trying to attract a woman does not mean you're willing to compromise your value. It should always be constant no matter what the situation you're in. If you are rejected, do not think that your value becomes less. Just think of it as a learning experience that contributes to who you are as a person. Do not take it too seriously and just move on. Finally, when it comes to wooing a woman, you will experience obstacles both great and small. Always remind yourself that you can do anything if you put your mind to it. Instead of shrinking away from the obstacles, find ways to remove them. For example, if the target woman is currently in a relationship with someone and you know that she deserves better but she just isn't settling, you need to get rid of the obstacle, the boyfriend. Now don't take this literally. Don't go out searching for a hitman who can kill her boyfriend. Removing the obstacle means making the girl single again so that you can move in for the kill. You do not even really need to do anything. If you follow all the tips in the books and become the alpha male that all men want to be, just introducing yourself, talking to her, and letting her know that you are interested and just waiting on the sides when they break up will be enough. You can also keep other women on the sidelines while you're waiting. No need to badmouth a guy or do anything underhanded. You might say that targeting a woman who is in a relationship is not something you feel comfortable doing. But remember that dating is all but a game and everyone is fair game. Don't worry too much about it because that's how life works. Other obstacles that you might encounter is not having a lot of money for dating. The solution is to look for ways to earn more money or to find a better paying job. You might also experience not having enough time to go out because of work. You can always try online dating or download dating apps such as Tinder. Every problem has a solution. Sometimes the solution is more than one. Shrink these obstacles to a size that you can manage until they are completely gone. You are now well prepared to search for these ladies now that you have greatly improved your inner game. Women might be everywhere, but there are great places to meet them. Find out more in the next chapter. Meeting women. Finally, what you're all waiting for, meeting the women that we have been talking about since page 1. As I said before, these women are everywhere and there are good places to meet them. Just because there are women in your office does not mean that you can only flirt with only them. It has been done before and people fall in love with their co-workers all the time, but it is something that you might want to avoid. You do not want to have your dating life and work life overlap, especially when one of them goes sour. Just imagine the drama that you will have at work. So where are the best places to meet women and what kind of strategy do you need to use in these certain situations? Check out the following tips and tricks. Section A. Night game. I think that meeting women at night is easier than meeting them in the morning. This is because the darkness leads an air of romance and mystery and also sexuality. People are more willing to let down their guard and be comfortable when it is nighttime than in broad daylight. Maybe because night is associated with relaxation, sleeping and having sex, and it also marks the end of a whole day of working. Everyone who is still out at night is there to have a great time, which means they are more open to meeting new people. This is my favorite game because I find it the easiest, and besides, I work best in the dark. What are the best places to practice your night game? The most popular answer is the bar or club. Most women who go here want to meet new people and have a good time. Aside from the bar or club, you can also go to parties or events that are being held at night. Evening events and venues usually have booze, which makes it a lot easier to talk to people. One important tip is to go often, about 4 to 5 times per week. You might think it is too much, especially if you have work during regular office hours, but as they always say, no pain, no gain, no guts, no glory. Otherwise, how are you going to meet women if you rarely go out? Also, you don't need to be with a group of friends. If you have no other option but to go by yourself, then by all means go out alone. It is in fact even better to go out alone, especially once you get used to it, because you can make your move without worrying about what your friends think, or without worrying about her falling for one of your friends instead of you. Working on your own is a lot better because you can focus on the task at hand. You also do not want to go to the same place every night that you're out, because you will probably see the same faces again and again. What I suggest is to list down all the places that you can go for each day and then plan to go out. This makes it a lot easier to plan out for the whole week. Thinking of where to go every time you want to go out can be draining, like always thinking of what to eat for dinner every day. So better do your research at the beginning of the week and create a schedule. Before you go out, you need to do some pre-going out preparation that will put you in the mood and the right frame of mind. Pre-go out tips. Number 1, get in the right state. To be in the right state for night game seduction, you need to be in the right mind state. You have to give yourself affirmations to psych yourself up. Tell yourself, I'm the shit, I can do it, or something along those lines. By voicing out positive statements, you are giving yourself positive vibes that can help you succeed in seducing women. Positive attracts positive, right? Number 2, do some physiology at home. What does this mean? It is not enough that you feed your mind positive thoughts to boost your confidence. You should also make your body more relaxed. I always do some light exercise for about 20 minutes if I still have time before I go out at night. I just do some stretching that helps release the tension in my muscles. If you are nervous because this is the first time going out, just do some deep breaths to calm your nerves. If your body is relaxed, you will be more confident interacting with women that you will meet later. Number 3, warm up your voice. This is especially true if you live alone and you have not spoken for hours. When you open your mouth to speak for the first time in hours, you might sound all squeaky, which can be a turn-off for most girls. Practice your seduction voice before going out. If you have pickup lines, practice them using this voice. Number 4, look at yourself in the mirror. This is not only for checking if you look good enough to sweep girls off their feet, but also to practice different facial expressions such as smiling, smirking, squinting, winking, and so on. You might think you look seductive when you do that signature half smile, half smirk of yours, but you will not really know for sure unless you see it with your own 2 eyes. Number 5, dress edgy. If you want women to notice you, you should start to dress in a more edgy way, especially when going out at night. Choose clothes that fit nicely and accentuate your assets. Know how to dress in a little bit more sexually. Instead of buttoning up your shirt all the way to your neck, why not unbutton a couple of buttons to make yourself look more relaxed and comfortable? You can also wear clothes that will bring out the masculine features of your body. Women will surely fall all over themselves when they see how hot and sexual you are. Number 6, be fun. If you look too serious, nervous, or quiet when you go out, you will not meet any women at all because they do not want to deal with such kinds of moods. After all, they are there to have fun, remember? Just exude an aura of fun and keep pumping positive emotions. Stop being needy and seeking validation from others. You are now ready to go out. Remember that the night game begins right when you step out of your house. This is because you might just meet someone who just happens to walk by outside your place, so be prepared the minute you go out. And when you arrive at the venue, you need to keep in mind several helpful tips and strategies that will turn your night game into a successful one. At the venue, exude a sexual vibe. Be a man that oozes sexuality. When you talk to a woman, she should immediately feel the sexual tension. To do this, you should learn how to talk seductively. Talk languidly as if you have all the time in the world. Pause at the right moment to build intrigue. This is like dangling a piece of apple in front of a horse. The horse will want the apple even more. Flirt with a woman and maintain sexual eye contact. Just make sure that everything you do has a sexual vibe to it. Number 2, smile at all times. Smiling at people makes you look more approachable. Going back to the tip above, you should exude an aura of fun so that you will attract people. Women would not want to talk to you if you look annoyed, serious, or sad. You should always make it a point to look amused and friendly all the time. Know the venue's rhythm. If this is your first time to go to that venue, you should first figure out the rhythm of the place before you make your move. For example, if a club opens at 8 p.m. and closes at 3 a.m., this means that most women will be ready to leave by 12 a.m. Of course, they would want to show off their outfits and their makeup in all their glory because they worked hard for it. Let them enjoy it before you decide to isolate them and pull them out the club. Ever heard of social proof? Social proof is an incredible tool that will help you pick up girls successfully. Honestly speaking, it's a kind of subtle mental manipulation that leads to your desired reaction from the ladies. It can be compared to advertising of a product. Even if you had no idea about a certain product, you still buy it based on the advertisements that you've seen. To make it clearer, let's say you suddenly wake up in an unfamiliar place where you do not know anyone. You're really hungry and you go out to eat food. You see two unfamiliar restaurants. Restaurant A is full of people eating and talking. It looks like a happening place. Restaurant B looks empty, although the sign says they're open. What restaurant will you choose if you're after the delicious food? You will surely pick Restaurant A, unless of course you want to be alone and do not care too much about the food. Even if you have no idea about both restaurants, you can judge them based on what you are seeing. Another example is when you see someone wearing expensive clothes or driving an expensive car or eating at an expensive restaurant. You will automatically think the person is loaded even if you do not know him or her personally. It is what your eyes are seeing, and based on that, your mind makes assumptions. This is how social proof works. It is a psychological phenomenon wherein people look at what others are doing to make decisions in an unfamiliar situation. Social proof is most obvious in unfamiliar situations where people just look at others for guidance. You can use social proof to your advantage when picking up girls, but how, you are probably asking. I'm sure you've been dying to know more about social proof and how it can help you to get any girl you want. These are the 3 ways to use social proof when picking up girls. 1. Let women see you with other women and men. 2. Be a social butterfly. 3. Build in a place where you are known. The first point is to let her see you with a group of people. There are different kinds of groups that you may want her to see you with. A group of attractive women, a group of attractive men, a single attractive woman, and a cool-looking buddy, or with a group of male and female friends. I put emphasis on the appearance of the people in your group because it plays a major role in social proof. When women see you with attractive people, they will automatically think you are also attractive, because why else would these people swarm around you? You might have something special about you. So when you see your guy friends, use big gestures that everyone can see, high fives, man hugs, fist bumps, etc. Work the crowd and let the women see you. Moreover, women judge you based on the people you are with. As the saying goes, birds of the same feather flock together. So if you are with your middle-aged buddies with beer bellies and receding hairlines, you might get low points from the ladies. But if you are with young foxes wearing stylish clothes and looking all dapper, then the ladies will surely give you a high score in their book. Of course, it is important that these people in your group are doting on you, or at least let women see you and your group having a great time. Women instantly notice the guy who commands attention. He is surrounded by people and they listen to him with rapt attention. I have seen many lady friends before ask about a guy because they see him talking to a group of people and these people are looking up to him. Ladies just find these guys interesting to know. Furthermore, social proof places a higher importance towards having fans than friends. This only applies in the dating game, not the real world, so don't go discarding your friends just because you need fans more. The only reason why fans are more important than friends is because it only shows that you're at the top level of the social hierarchy, which makes you even more desirable among women. You might ask, how can you acquire fans? You're not exactly a celebrity. Well, you can be one, at least at the bar where you frequent. You can either bring a group of young women or men with you, or you can go around the bar and talk to people, which brings me to the second point of social proof. Be a social butterfly. Talk to anyone you meet. And when I say anyone, I mean anyone. Fat girls, shy dudes, girls, etc. Do not discriminate who you are friendly to because the ladies will notice this. Besides, the more people you talk to, the more popular you become. Even if you are considered low in value when it comes to the hierarchy of dating, you should still go talk to them. Try to achieve the tasks that are easiest to achieve or the low-hanging fruits. Consider this as your warm-up before you face the ultimate challenges. If you do this, it will make you stand out when you finally approach the hottie because everyone already knows you. This will increase your value in the eyes of people around you. Just have a good time and enjoy the place and the people you meet. No pressure for now. Do not be too harsh on yourself at this stage just because you are starting. To give yourself a confident boost, judge yourself positively. However, one word of advice: if you do decide to take this path, do not fall into the entertainer mode or high energy, or you would end up becoming the joker or class clown instead of the seducer. What you can do is find the right balance between the two. Be Mr. Energetic while working your way around the room, and switch to seducer mode by lowering your energy when you finally find your target. The trick here is to keep moving until you find the girl you like. After all, you don't want to spend all your time and energy stuck talking to someone you're not really interested in. And of course, you need to stop moving once you find the girl that you really like. This is one danger of becoming a social butterfly. You tend to build so much momentum talking to everyone that when you finally come across someone you really like, you still continue talking to other people because you find it difficult to decrease the momentum. Just do not lose focus on your goal. Remember that you are not here to entertain people, but to find a girlfriend, or at least someone to go home with for the night. And finally, the third point: you need to build your game in a place where you are known. Of course, the first thing that you need to do is to be more known in that venue. It shouldn't be just any place. You need to know more about the venue before you start building your game. A great place for building your game is somewhere that has a lot of female patrons, because how are you going to meet women if there are only a few of them? It should also be a place where people meet instead of doing other things such as dancing or eating with friends. It is also a plus if the place has areas where you can talk or even make out to the lady in private. The club where I sometimes DJ has multiple floors. This gives people plenty of places to meet and talk. It is like having a venue within a venue. After identifying the place where you want to be known, you can now start introducing yourself to the staff or even the owner. Talk to the bartender or the waiting staff. Have a word with the manager or the owner. Go there not only when the place is hopping, but also during off days or a few hours before opening, so that you can talk to the staff when they're not busy. Once you get to know the people who work there, you will learn a lot of useful information about the people who usually go there. Moreover, when women see that you are friendly with the owner, manager or staff, they will think you are somebody important or that you have the right connections. This is also beneficial because building your game in a place where you are known and you feel comfortable will make things easier for you. Social proof is highly effective in a place where there are a lot of potential women to meet but low receptivity. And if you do decide to apply social proof in your night game, you need to remember to take action right away in the dating game. Talk is cheap. Although verbal communication is important, non-verbal communication is even more important in dating, because more often than not, it says a lot more than words ever will, which leads us to another strategy that you can employ in the night game: Kino escalation. I know that this is the first time you've heard of this term. This is something that pick-up artists use to get any girl they want. It starts from beginning to the dating set and lasts until the very end, and the level of intensity increases as the interaction with the girl progresses, thus the term escalation. Kino is short for kinesthetics, or the physical touch between a man and a woman. The ultimate end of Kino escalation is of course sex, and to reach this you should first go through several levels of physical intimacy. Building up intimacy is not really a requirement. Nothing is stopping you from going directly to sex if both you and the woman is up for it. However, gradually building up sexual tension is a lot more exciting than proceeding directly to sex. It is also more socially acceptable, and not to mention classier and more calibrated. Basic principles. This technique won't work if you do not have confidence. This is why I always put emphasis on having confidence in yourself, because you need it as you progress in the night game. When touching the woman, whether it is touching her knee, giving her a hug, or giving her a kiss, you need to be confident in what you are doing. It should be deliberate and calm, as if it is the most natural thing in the world to do. Awareness is a key principle of Kino escalation. This means awareness of the signals that the woman sends. She might not say it up front, but she can be sending signals that you are going too far. She might turn her head slightly to one side when you come nearer, or slowly shift her position to remove your hands from her knees. You need to back off a little bit because it means she is not yet ready. But do not be discouraged. If you play your cards right, you can still continue to escalate a little later. Just be aware of subtle signals that she might be sending. Kino also follows the principle 2 steps forward, 1 step backward. Kino is not a step-by-step progress. It is done unevenly and slowly for it to be more effective. If you are touching your knees and you can sense that she likes it, pull your hand away for a few minutes, then put it back again. Pulling out Kino when it is clear that she is enjoying it, it only makes her more receptive to your next advances. Make her want it even more. You should also keep your touch light and feathery. Touching does not mean placing your hand on her knee without moving, as if you are just resting your hand there. Stroke her knee lightly or gently move your thumb against her hand. Your movement should be light and fluid. No jerky movements, please, or the woman will be surprised and the air of seduction will be gone. Early set kino. This is done when you first meet the girl. This only involves a simple and casual physical touch, such as touching her arm to get her attention or letting your body touch if you are in a crowded area. You can also tell her that you know how to do palm reading so that you can touch her hand for a long time. You can also place your hand on the small of her back to guide her to the dance floor. Mid-set kino. After some time, and you are already having a deeper conversation with the girl, you can now escalate by using more deliberate physical contact such as hugging, stroking her arm or knee. You can also start kissing mid-set if you think the girl is ready. Seduction phase kino. You're now bringing the whole process to a close. You and the girl are becoming more sexual at this point. This involves heavy kissing and groping that will ultimately lead to sex. One important advice that I can give you to only do the seduction phase in a place where you are actually going to have sex. Believe me, it spoils the mood when you are both ready to do it, but of course you can't because people might see you. When it comes to kino, do not hesitate. Remember that he who hesitates masturbates. And you don't want to be masturbating when you can have sex with a woman you like if you do it right. These strategies are so effective that I still use them up to this day. After using it several times, it now just becomes out naturally whenever I go out and want to pick up the ladies. So basically, here is how a night game will look. Number 1, physiology. Go to the dance floor and dance for a bit. Loosen up, laugh, feel the music, let loose and enjoy the venue. Talk with anyone to get into the zone. Opening. Ask yourself, how can I make this fun? Think of pickup openers that will get her to talk to you. Use FTC, force time constraints. Tell her I need to go back to my friends, but before I do, can you please tell me? Go to the girl and say something like, hey, you know what this music reminds me of? Let the girl know that you find her attractive. Look for IOIs or indicators of interest, eye contact, smile, hair flip, etc. Use physical contact early on, such as shaking her hand, because the longer you don't do it, the weirder it gets once you finally decide to do it. Use DHV or demonstration of higher value. You do not really need to brag about yourself. You can do it in a subtle way. I'm a DJ and I sometimes tell stories about my work like celebrities I met at events or places I've DJ'd at. People ask, so I just answer. But I never go around telling people that I know this celebrity or I've been to this famous event until someone asks. You need to do these with every girl that you meet. Consider it as a cycle. One girl is one cycle. Once you finish one cycle, you have to start all over again. Let's say you finally found a girl that you like. Here's what should happen while you are in set, meaning while you are talking to the girl. In set, vibe with the girl by cracking jokes or using assumption stacking. Assume things about the girl by starting your sentence with, I bet you are, you look like someone who, I think you are. This creates attraction, especially if your guesses are correct, and elevates your status in the eyes of the lady. Practice the push-pull method. Give her compliments and also negs. Negs or negatives are not insults. These are used to lower down the bitch shield of the ladies and are extremely useful when interacting with highly attractive females. These females are so used to men hitting on them that showering them with compliments will only make them uninterested. Instead, push them away a little bit by saying negs such as, we probably won't get along because we're too much alike. Or I didn't know you are just as terrible as I am when it comes to dancing. This will make her more comfortable enough to lower her bitch shield because she knows that you're not hitting on her. Do not supplicate or agree with everything she says. Be extremely amicable. Do not do or say things just for the sake of gaining her approval. Women see this as a sign of weakness. Keep this tension while you are in set. Keep guessing, but also sprinkle some statements of interest, such as giving a sincere compliment or using positive body language. Give her plenty of space during the conversation. This means that you should not do all the talking all the time. Don't make it look like an interval where you ask questions and she responds. She should also do her part by asking questions to you in return. If there is a lull in the conversation, let her fill in the silence, especially after doing your part. The most powerful social force is space. Get her invested. If the girl is invested, she will be more willing to go further. One way to do this is to get her invested emotionally. Yes, you can do this even during the initial meet. You should say something personal about yourself first, then ask her if she has experienced the same thing. Once she opens up to you, she is already invested emotionally. If she buys you a drink or pays for your food, she is investing financially. Investing is a huge IOI because only people who are invested will take the time and effort to do such things. Paint pictures and sounds while talking to the girl. This will make her more interested to get to know you, which could lead to making out than sex. Figure out logistics. Find a place in the venue where you can isolate, or better yet, figure out a way to bring her home or to make her invite you to her home. While in set, you should talk with emotion. Do not be like an interviewer who only asks questions and doesn't show any kind of emotion while talking. Turn the conversations to something deeper and more serious. Ask her questions such as, what is your biggest fear? Or if you could choose to live anywhere, where would you live? Questions like these require an elaborate answer that gives you a glimpse of the person. As I said before, use emotional spikes. Make her feel different kinds of emotions while talking to you. Make it feel like a roller coaster ride for her. Use push and pull. Push her away and pull her back in. Do not be scared to use this on women because they are pros at this kind of thing. They will leave her wondering whether she is really interested or not. Why not do the same thing to her? Let her wonder. By doing the push-pull technique, it's like you are telling the woman, I really like you, I think. We should probably date or not. Make her qualify by letting her talk a bit about herself. You will know if she is someone you would like to date if she starts to tell you things about herself. And always give her plenty of space to contribute to the conversation. Don't do all the work. You should always ask yourself, what do I want in every step of the way? Identifying your goals is important to keep your focus. Here is basically the summary of what should take place. Move. Go around the place and introduce yourself to people. Meet new people. Always have the whole picture in your head at the beginning to keep you on track. Vibe. Dance. Vibe with the girl by talking to her or dancing with her. Find out her logistics at the beginning of the set, if she lives alone, if she's with her friends, and what her plans are for tomorrow. This is the perfect time to make plans with her. Social dynamics. This can be a part of the game because you or she may be with a group of friends. You can use the people that you are with to your advantage. Use your friends to help you get to her, or if you have girlfriends, you can ask them to introduce you to their girlfriends. Remember that girls are better connected than men, and they will surely have someone for you if you cannot find one for yourself. If she has friends with her, get her to introduce you to her friends. This is important because if she introduces you to her friends, it simply means she likes you. And when she does not, be sure to game the whole group. She will know that you are valuable when she sees her friends enjoying talking to you. It will definitely increase your desirability. Who knows, maybe you will find someone you like more among her friends. Although it is something I advise against doing when you already started showing your interest and making your move to one particular girl because you do not want to cause animosity among them. Lead and seed the pool. Always have a winning mindset. If you envision success, you will surely win. Pull her towards you by taking action. Ask her to dance or have a drink with you. Pull. After seeding the pool, you can now finally close the set by changing the location. You can either go somewhere private in the venue or find an excuse to go home with her. Keep her logical mind distracted by talking to her. Do not allow her to have second thoughts even for a minute because this can make her change her mind. Let's assume that you have pulled her to your home, her home or hotel or bathroom. Although bringing her to your house means you want to have sex with her, you still have to make it fun and interesting for her. Show her around your house, play some relaxing music, prepare food and drinks, just basically be a good host. Don't just enter the door and start having sex with her because that's just not how it should be done, unless both of you are extremely in heat and want to do away with the niceties. Start to make things more sexual. Use kino escalation. Usually it starts from eye to body, meaning you are checking out the girl, then eye to eye, or both of you looking at each other. The first physical contact usually starts when you are touching her hand, arm or elbow. You are not suggesting anything yet, but merely testing the waters. If her reaction is positive, you can start putting your arms around her shoulders or her waist or her lower back. Stroke her knees, if you will. This should be done smoothly. You shouldn't just put your hands on her waist out of nowhere. You can do this when you are leading her to the door or the dance floor. Once all these innocent gestures are done, which you have probably done already while still in the club, you can now proceed to do more sexual actions like kissing and groping. There are telltale signs that she is ready to be kissed or in fact practically asking you to kiss her. Her intense gaze and slightly open mouth are indications that she is ready to go further. You also notice her chest is slightly arched as if inviting you to come closer. Put your arms around her and go in for the kiss. Once you are kissing, groping automatically comes next. Put your hands under her shirt just to touch her stomach. If she doesn't resist, touch her more private parts like her breasts and genitals. Make sure you do this in a private location because this will ultimately lead to sex. Do not forget to compliment her body because this will turn her on even more. Wow, we're done tackling night game seduction. It is more detailed and comprehensive because picking women up is usually done at night because it is more effective. However, this does not mean that you can't do it during the day. Day game. If there is something called night game in the art of seduction, there is surely something called day game. Obviously this is done during the day, which a lot of men think is not a good time to pick up girls. They are wrong, of course, because any time is a good time to pick up girls as long as you know what you are doing. So imagine yourself jogging in the morning just like you normally do, then you suddenly see a really attractive girl going in the opposite direction. What do? You cannot simply just stop her and talk to her without an action plan in mind. Although of course you can do this, but it's not ideal. She might find you weird or worse dangerous if you don't do it in the right way. The game is not just done in bars, clubs, parties or other social environments at night. It can be practically anywhere, in parks, classes, cafes, malls, libraries, shops, on train platforms, galleries or even your usual jogging route. You can find girls anywhere, therefore you can pick up girls anytime. The main difference between a night game and a day game is that a night game venues are specifically designed for people to mingle or interact with each other, while day game venues are not specifically designed for this purpose. People who go out and about during the day are usually busy because they have somewhere to go or are running errands. People who go out at night are out because they want to meet new people or just want to have a good time. So which game is easier and which one is more difficult for pickup artists? Night game is easier and day game is more difficult, but of course you still have to do it because it's still a great opportunity to meet women. Here are the things that you need to do when picking up women during the day. Opening. The most difficult part of any pickup game is opening. How are you going to approach the girl in broad daylight without looking like a creepy stalker? The secret to do it is as spontaneously and naturally as possible, as if you have just seen her that exact moment that you are talking to her, not some time ago when you started following her every move. To approach the woman you have to put a big smile on your face, make it look like you are fun and friendly to talk to. The first words that you want to utter to someone who is going about her day and minding her own business is "excuse me," because you don't want to scare her introducing yourself right away and telling her that she's cute. Just like in the night game, you should use false time constraints in the day game. Say something like, "I'm on my way to a friend's house but I can't help but notice," or "I have to go catch the train in a few minutes but I just saw you and wanted to say hi." As an opening, you can give her a compliment, state an observation about your surroundings, ask for her opinion, and so on. Just be sure that it is something unique and original, something that she hasn't heard of before. This will make you stand out among all the guys who tried to pick her up. If she looks like she is doing something or is in a hurry, you can be direct in approaching her. At least she won't think that you are ruining her schedule, which will only make her not only uninterested but also annoyed. If she finds you interesting, your false time constraint will be a lot more advantageous because she will think she might lose you at any minute and she might find a way to have to contact with you before you leave, such as giving you her number. And one word of advice from an expert: when she already sees you, do not hesitate because women can sense your hesitation a mile away, and this is a huge turn-off for them. Your game will already be ruined because her initial impression of you is already awkward and unconfident. Never hide because it's just plain creepy, dude. When you talk to her, be confident and talk audibly. The conversation. Basically, a huge chunk of the day game is the conversation itself. Assuming that she is not in any hurry, you can have a conversation with her. Find a topic of conversation that both of you can relate to. You don't really know anything about the girl yet, so the safest topics are anything related to your present situation. For example, if you're at a store and the lines at the cash register are pretty long, you can say something about it, then ask her about her purchases, if she always shops there, etc. Or if you are both attending a cooking class, you can talk about the class itself, such as the parts that you like and you don't like, what makes you decide to take a cooking class, and so on. Your first conversation is not the time to get deeper and know more about the girl. You are just in the process of introducing yourself to each other, and of course securing her number and possibly a second meetup or date. Do not ask her stuff out of nowhere, such as what her favorite color is, or anything too personal like her past relationships, unless the conversation went in that direction naturally. Do not force the flow of the conversation, but rather make it go as smoothly and as naturally as possible. Before ending the conversation or your first meeting, be sure to get her number or arrange a second meeting or date. Say something along the lines of, "Listen, I really want to know more about that museum you were telling me about. Can we visit it tomorrow, if we have free time? Or, I really think you can help me with this topic. Can we meet up later and talk about it more?" And if you can't think of something creative, just be straightforward. "I really enjoyed talking to you and I'd like to continue the conversation. Are you free later for dinner?" You can practice your day game anytime, anywhere. Try approaching women that you're not really interested in dating in a nice, friendly manner. Ask them about their day, what they're doing there, etc. And since you are just practicing, you do not really need to get their number or ask them out on a date. You can just end the conversation by simply saying, "It was nice talking to you. Have a great day." That's the end of the day game, because it does not really lead to hooking up or sex right away. Sex doesn't happen while you're doing day game, most of the time at least. The ultimate goal of picking up girls during broad daylight is simply getting her number and securing dates either later on the same day or in the near future. In this modern age of technology, everything can be done online, even dating. Some people treat online dating as their last resort and feel embarrassed talking about it, but that shouldn't be the case. A lot of people found their lifelong partners online, and online dating has become so common that you shouldn't feel embarrassed about it anymore. A lot of people, old and young, are doing it. In dating, you should exhaust all your possibilities, because who knows, the one you are looking for might be too busy to go out and prefers online dating. The thing with online dating is that there are so many guys who send dirty pictures and disrespectful messages that good guys like you and me sometimes don't stand a chance. We are lumped together with these guys who think sending pictures of their dicks makes them attractive for some reason. Thankfully, this image of online dating is slowly beginning to change when more and more people use it, unlike before when it's mostly used by unattractive people who have weird fetishes. Now even popular people use it, especially with the popularity of Tinder. If you haven't heard of this, you must be living under a rock and you should definitely start brushing up on your dating knowledge. If you belong to that handful of people who haven't tried Tinder before, it is an online app that you can download on your mobile phone. It doesn't have the hassle of creating a dating profile because it is connected to your Facebook account. The basic premise of Tinder is that if you like a picture, if you swipe right, you swipe right. If you don't like it, you swipe left. If both of you swipe right on each other's picture, Tinder will create a match and then you can start chatting. It may sound shallow because you are basically judging a person based on her looks. But that's how it is in real life, right? You approach a woman because how she looks. Personality and other deeper stuff will come next. That's the same thing for online dating. You can both swipe right for it, but to go any further depends on whether you have a good online conversation. Tinder also has a feature called Super Like, where it allows you to alert a potential Tinder match that you are super attracted to her before you swipe right. You can't explain it, but there's something about the picture that gives you butterflies, even before meeting them or talking to them. It happens sometimes, right? Another way to find the perfect match is to use Boost. When you use this, your profile will be placed at the top of the other profiles that your potential matches can see for 30 minutes, which means more chances of getting your profile swiped right. You can also subscribe to Tinder Plus, which features 5 super likes per day, 1 boost per month, rewind last swipe, unlimited likes, and passport swipe around the world. There is also Tinder Gold, which is basically like Tinder Plus, plus one more feature. It allows you to see who likes you. Just like normal dating, you also need to send an opening chat message. Say something like, "We both swipe right, so I guess we're a perfect match." Or, "Hello there, adorable Tinder match." Or, "Did anyone tell you that you look like a celebrity? That's why I swipe right." Or, "I heard Chinese girls are ... Any opening statement that is witty or any compliment to start off the conversation on a positive note will do. And now that you have started the conversation, you can now find similar interests or hobbies that will let you know if you have something in common. The thing with online dating is that it is easier to open a conversation because you have time to come up with a witty statement. Plus, asking about her likes and dislikes on the first day is not so weird. You can also send pictures to each other or voice messages. Tell her more details about yourself, such as your height, hobbies, likes, work, and so on. You can even tell her your location so that you will know if there is a chance for you to meet up. If you like what you are seeing or reading so far, and if you think she is also interested, you can ask for her number and arrange for a meetup. Give her a call and get to know each other more. Once you decided to meet up, set the time and place. It is best to choose a location that you think is safe, like your local gym, yoga class, park, restaurant, and so on. When you finally get to meet her, apply all the things that you've learned previously in this book on how to attract a woman. The different techniques discussed previously also apply here once you are talking to her in person. You can also use Tinder when traveling to a different place. This will allow you to meet people who are not in your general vicinity. And aside from Tinder, you can also use social media platforms to find hookups or dates, such as Facebook or Instagram. On Facebook, you should be friends with the girl you like, and on Instagram, you should follow her profile, like her pictures, send her a DM, send pictures, voice calls, schedule a meetup, and so on. And don't just focus on one girl. Add or follow as many girls as you like on Facebook or Instagram. Just remember that no matter what online dating platform you use, you should always be respectful so that you won't get lumped together with those other guys who think that their dicks are God's gifts to girls. Did you know that there are jobs that are designed for you to get laid? Well, not exactly designed for that purpose, but you get my drift. If you work in an office setting, it might be more difficult to get laid because of that environment. It's not really an exactly great place for that. I know you're probably thinking that you have seen a lot of movies or TV shows that have co-workers falling in love with each other and even having sex in the office. Sure, this can be done, but it's not the ideal place. And besides, going out every night to pick up girls can be exhausting, not to mention expensive. So the solution is to find a job that can get you laid. It's a win-win situation for you. You are earning more money while effortlessly picking up girls on the side. I'm a DJ and I can vouch for this job. I meet so many women in a week that choosing is a must because there's not enough time to date them all. I'm always surrounded by women fighting for my attention. All I have to do is play music. It's so easy, it's laughable. Aside from DJs, bartenders also get a lot of dates. However, the job of a bartender is a lot more difficult. What I would recommend is to be a bartender in high-end hotel bars that do not have drunken idiots that make bartending difficult in some other venues. Other jobs that give you more opportunities to get laid are a masseuse, personal trainer, dance instructor, gym instructor, musician, tattoo artist, photographer, and stripper. But if you still want a job that is still kind of corporate but allows you to meet new people, you can try sales. Texting and calling. Texting and calling can occur when you finally get her number. There are certain rules that you need to follow for these to work effectively on your side. For instance, you should be witty but not too clever because that will make you sound like a know-it-all nerd. You do not want to turn her off by spouting unnecessary facts in your text messages or phone calls. You should also not ask too many questions. Save all these questions for later when you are talking to her in person. Give her a compliment to put her in a better mental space. I really like your profile picture. Or I'd like to get to know you better because you seem like an interesting person. She's more likely to reply to your messages and phone calls. Ask her out on a date by simply saying, "Are you doing anything fun this week? Do you want to hang out? Or what kind of music do you listen to? Because there's this one bar that just opened and I would want to check it out. You want to come?" Send her voice messages, gifs, videos, and pictures, but remember not to bombard her by sending her a message or calling her every few minutes or hours. As I mentioned before, space is an important tool in communicating. Give her plenty of space. Let her miss you. If she doesn't reply in a few minutes, just wait. Do not send multiple texts or make several calls without her replying because you would look desperate or worse, a creepy stalker. Moreover, when she finally replies, do not send her a reply right away as if you are looking at your phone waiting for her messages, as if you do not have anything better to do in your life. This is why it's important to talk to multiple girls online until you find the perfect one, because you won't notice if one of them takes a long time to respond. One tip: if you're going to make a phone call, you need to find an excuse why you are calling her. because it's a bigger investment than simply chatting or sending a text message. It is not only more expensive to call, but it also shows that you are more invested in her emotionally. This is why you need to find an excuse for calling her. Tell her that your screen is broken and you cannot clearly see messages. That's why you called. And always have your goal in mind, to set up a date with her. Speaking of dates, you also need to know some useful tips and tricks about dating, because it is not as simple as they make it out in the movies, especially if you're trying to get laid. Going out on a date. You're almost there. You finally secured a date with a girl you like. When you're already out on a date with her, you need to know what to do. It is not as simple as meeting her somewhere and having a conversation. You need to do some techniques that will help you get laid on the first date, or pursue a serious relationship with the girl. First and foremost, the time. The perfect time for dates is 8 p.m. It's not too early that you both don't need to rush off from work, and it's also not too late, which will only give you a short time to apply your seduction skills. When choosing a place, it depends on what you think she will enjoy the most. The safest choices are restaurants or cinema. You can also take her to a gallery or bar, etc. This all depends on what you think will make her more comfortable and make it easier for you to seduce her. If you have multiple dates in a week, you might want to do the same routine with all of them because it makes things easier for you. The routine is something like this. Meet at that bar, then ask her out on a date, then go home for drinks or to chill or even sex. When you're out on a date with her, do not lose the momentum. You have to act quickly or in the moment for seduction or sex will be gone. This is why it's important to take the initiative in all areas, texting, setting up dates, inviting her home, etc., because it gives you the right momentum that you need. Strike while the iron is hot, so to speak. But of course you should still not act all needy and desperate. You already did your part by taking the initiative. Let her do hers by responding not only to your message but also to your advances. The thing with going out on a date unprepared is that you are really just relying on your own communication and skills and the ambience of the place. Of course these are important, but you also need to have a technique that will ensure you are going to get laid later. You need to be the kind of man you can press the right buttons and make any girl fall madly in love with you. How do you make a girl fall head over heels in love with you after just meeting her for the first or even second time? The trick here is to make her feel comfortable with you. Sex does not just stem from attraction. Being comfortable with a person is also a main ingredient. Many dating experts believe that the formula for sex is 30% attraction and 70% comfort. Attraction is important because if there is only comfort, you will end up being friend-zoned by the girl. On the other hand, if there is only attraction, it will not lead anywhere. It will be just like crushing on someone, like a celebrity, because you did not feel comfortable enough to make it go any further. So you already know that she is attracted because she said yes when you asked her out on a date. How do you make her feel comfortable? The answer is the boyfriend her technique. Basically, it is just doing things that only a long-term boyfriend would normally do. Women trust their boyfriends and they feel comfortable with them. How do you act like her boyfriend even if you are not really her boyfriend? When you see a couple together, you will notice that they do not just touch each other romantically. They also do things that only people comfortable with each other will do, such as removing crusties from each other's eyes. It might be gross for some people, but definitely not when you are doing it with someone you love. Now don't start looking for crusties in her eyes just to make her feel comfortable with you. It can be something simple as brushing her hair behind her ears, removing dirt off her clothes, trying to tie her shoelaces and so on. Boyfriends do these things to their girlfriends, and this makes girls feel comfortable. You can act like her boyfriend in this manner and make her feel comfortable as well. If she is comfortable enough, you will surely end up getting laid if you play your cards right. And how can you make a girl come home with you? Find an excuse to do it. Of course, most girls already know that you are attracted to her and would like to sleep with her, but in the kind of society we live in, you don't exactly say these things directly. You just imply it. You find an excuse to invite her to your home. Would you like to have a drink or two in my apartment? I'd like to show you my studio. I need to go pick up my washing. Anything just to make her come home with you without expressively saying that you want to take her home to have sex with her. And your home should be a good place for seduction. Before going out, hide anything that can ruin the mood, such as your pile of unwashed laundry or empty beer cans. The place should look like an elegant bachelor's pad, and the venue of your date should be near your place so that you can take her home with you anytime. When you are already home, set the mood by putting on some relaxing music and not turning on all the lights. Prepare drinks for both of you and show her some normal stuff just to make her feel at home. Use Kino escalation together with the boyfriend her technique, and you would have her in your bed in no time. Other things that you might want to try is a massage or lighting up candles. The truth is you can get laid anytime, anywhere. You can get laid at night, during the day, at the gym, in a class, etc. But of course the perfect time is at night and somewhere private where you can do anything you want, like your place. Basically, here is how the entire dating scenario should look. Meet for an hour or two for dinner or movie or any other activity nearby. Take her home and seduce her. Have sex. Do some post-sex activities such as eating, shopping, skating, going to the park, etc. If you want to see her again, it's a major bonus. This is how an ideal date should go, and if you really hit it off with her, you will have many more dates and ultimately a serious relationship with her. Relationships. I've been in a couple of serious relationships, and I can say that I am an expert. I have dated a lot of women, but only a few have become serious. My choice. I really don't like any commitment right now, and I prefer playing the field. But if your goal is to really be in a serious relationship, then here are some useful tips and advice that I can give you. First and foremost, how can she become your girlfriend? You have to look at it from a female's perspective. Something becomes more desirable for a woman when other women also like it. This means that the more girls want you, the higher your chances of making her your girlfriend will be. Women like the competition and the chase with you as their reward. This is why you need to keep things exciting. Do not just give her anything she wants. Let her know that you have other choices. Make her wait for your texts and be vague with your answers. She will then become most addicted to you and will want nothing more than to be your girlfriend. And when you are finally together, you shouldn't be like those guys who stop going out with their guy friends just because they now have a girlfriend. Girlfriends may come and go, but guy friendships last forever. Unless you do something to ruin it, such as ignoring your friends because you are in a relationship now. Do not let your world revolve around the girl. Don't give her your all. Do not make the same mistake that I did, or you will end up nothing once the relationship turns sour. Make your life interesting by learning new hobbies or changing your lifestyle. Your girlfriend will fall even more in love with you because you continue making yourself even more interesting. Moreover, if you have an interesting life outside of your relationship, you will not end up becoming needy and clingy boyfriend because you do not feel bored when your girlfriend is busy. Believe me, this is the only solution. Tell her that you are looking forward to seeing her after you go and meet some friends. And when in a relationship, you have to make it real and make every second with her being count. You should not be in a relationship just for the sake of having a girl by your side or just to show her off to your friends. After all, you're both just wasting time if you know that you're not really into her. You might just end up hurting her in the end. And this is not something that I encourage because we should love girls and not make them cry. Another requirement for men who are in a serious relationship is to develop their emotions. Have more empathy and vulnerability. Girls are suckers for men who show their emotional side. This does not mean that you should go crying to your girl when you have a problem. However, showing her that you are just human and you also have a soft side is always a plus in any relationship. Letting out this emotional side of yours is helpful because it makes you more relatable to your girlfriend. Besides bottling up all those emotions because that's how a man should act, is mid-century. You have to catch up with the times and understand that men are now allowed to have a soft side. However, just because you are in a relationship with her already, does not mean that you should go easy on your techniques. Remember that relationships require work, and if you want to keep the fire burning, you have to keep gaming her, which means that you still have to use the techniques that you have learned in the previous chapters, such as push-pull. You should also take the lead in your relationship. Although both of you should call the shots, you need to become the leader in most aspects of the relationship. Be responsible for her and make her safe, protected and secured. And when in a relationship, do not forget to always be a gentleman by giving her compliments and being romantic, especially when there is a special occasion like her birthday or your anniversary. Another technique that you should still be using when in a relationship is to set the right frame. And the right kind of frame when in this situation is honesty. Of course, you should really be honest by not doing things that will break her trust. But you should also frame yourself as an honest person, especially if she has trust issues because of her past relationships. To do this, you have to be open with her at all times. Tell her where you are going, who you're going out with, etc. Some men may think this is too much, but if you really want to gain her trust, you have to do this. Later on, once she fully trusts you, she won't need such details and reassurances whenever you go out without her. Remember, keep the skill alive at all times. Make her more invested in the relationship and let her be the chaser instead of the other way round. Finally, you should always strive to be better. Not just you, but also her. You need to work on your relationship if you want it to last long. It's not just about the right game, but also about commitment and completely loving the other person no matter what. Always go out on dates and do things together to keep the love alive. Sex is a must in any relationship. It is the physical act of intimacy. It is an expression of love, trust, and devotion. This is why it is a deeper act when done by two individuals who love each other, because it's not just about lust, but also about connection and commitment. However, sex in a relationship can become stale sometimes, especially after being together for a long time. It can become a routine, and this is something that you should avoid. Sex should always be exciting, even after being together for years. For it to be exciting, here are the things that you need to do. Have sex goals. When having sex, you should always have a goal that you need to achieve. You might say the big O or orgasm has always been the goal for having sex, right? Bringing pleasure to your partner and to yourself. Having sex is not just about achieving orgasm. It can be about a number of things. It can be for relaxation, because sex relieves stress and tension. It can also be done for experimentation. You and your girlfriend might want to try something new and different, such as using kinky toys, costumes, etc. Couples also do it for emotional connection. This is why a lot of people have sex after a big fight, because it makes them feel connected again. Increase your sex drive. To have great and exciting sex, you have to have the appetite for it. You can increase your libido or sex drive by eating healthy food, exercising, and taking libido inducers. Show your emotions. When having sex, do not be afraid to show your emotions. In fact, this is the perfect time to show your emotions because you are connecting to her on a primal level. Tell her how much you love her while kissing her or stroking her body, or how much you find her beautiful and sexy. Do foreplay. Did you know that women prefer foreplay than the actual penetration? In fact, a lot of them achieve their orgasm via foreplay. Tease and pleasure her body. Learn about the things that make her orgasm. You will know this based on her reaction. If you're good at what you're doing, you also know when she is faking. Talk dirty. Another way to make sex more exciting is to talk dirty. You can do this not only when having sex, but also when talking to her through chat or text on the phone. The anticipation of what you're going to do to her when you are finally together will make her more excited to do the deed with you. Maintain eye contact. Intense eye contact while having sex is a great turn-on because it makes her feel that you are not just after her body and having sex with her. You're also trying to connect with her by looking into her eyes. And when having sex, looking at her will make her feel beautiful. This is especially effective when you are going down on her, and just looking at her reaction while pleasuring her is a big turn-on by itself. Threesomes. If both of you are open to anything when it comes to sex, you can maybe try having a threesome. The third person can be a male or female depending on your preference. If she is into threesomes, she probably knows someone who is also into it. Or maybe you also have friends who are into these kinds of things. You'd be surprised at the number of people who want to have sex with two people at the same time. You have to make her more comfortable in expressing herself sexually. You can open the topic by innocently asking, "Have you ever considered having a threesome before?" If her answer is a clear hell no, then she is not into it and you shouldn't be forcing the issue. But if her reply is something vague like, "I'm not sure, I haven't really thought about it," then it's possible that she might like it, or that she actually likes it but is shy to admit it. If you do decide to have a threesome and you already find the two lucky ladies, or it can be one lady and one guy, to do it with you, You need to take it slow, especially if one of you is new to this kind of thing. Set the mood right. You can also play a drinking game to make things more fun and at the same time to make everyone feel more relaxed. Sex addiction. Sex is a normal part of any adult person's life, but did you know that there are people who are addicted to sex? And we all know that any form of addiction and anything done in excess is not good. You need to know the signs of sex addiction, especially if you are venturing out in the dating world and meeting a lot of different people every day. These signs can include not performing well at work, relationships with friends and family are impaired, unplanned pregnancies and STDs, spending more money on prostitutes and pornography, always thinking about sex, wants to stop but is unable to, depression and anxiety. You need to look out for these signs because you do not want to become involved with someone who is addicted to sex, or worse, become that someone who is addicted to sex. If you know someone who is addicted to sex, or if you think you yourself are addicted to sex, you should seek help right away. Do not be embarrassed about it because I know a lot of people who have the same problem. You can go to a therapist or a counseling group to help you overcome your addiction. Here are some stories of people who were once addicted to sex, but were able to overcome the addiction before they did something really terrible. Sheila has been in several serious relationships, but she always cheats, no matter how kind and loving her partner is. The main reason for her cheating is her addiction to sex. She just becomes bored after being with the same man for months. She knows she has a problem and she wants it to stop. So she attended a group called Sex Addicts Anonymous, and she is now free from sex addiction for 3 years. Many people think that having the perfect life won't lead to any form of addiction, but they are wrong. Take Jude's case for example. He had an attractive and supportive wife, 2 beautiful kids, a high-paying job, a large home, and basically anything that a man could ever hope for. The only problem is he also has a sex addiction, and it is a secret. He pays prostitutes to have sex with him regularly, until he got caught. It ruined his life. When his wife found out about his sex addiction, she immediately divorced him and she took the kids with her. He was too embarrassed to show his face to work, so he also quit his job. He lost everything. He knows he has a problem and he sought counseling. He visits a therapist regularly and attends a counseling group. Today he is free from sex addiction and is spending time with his wife and kids. They may not be back together again, but at least they are in good terms and he can spend time with his children again. Michelle is addicted to sex and she knows it and she loves it. She meets men almost every day and goes to their house or apartment to have sex, until one day she woke up after a hard night of partying and drinking, in the hospital with bruises all over her body. She was beaten and raped, by whom she is not sure because she can barely remember the events of the night before. She was lucky someone saw her lying near the dumpster and she was brought to the hospital. Michelle's solution is to seek help from professionals and people who have had the same experience as her. She is now 5 years clean and is a volunteer to her local Sex Addicts Anonymous group. Personal development. It is not just about improving your appearance and your pickup game that can also help you attract women effortlessly. You need to improve on the following aspects of yourself if you want to become an alpha male. Number 1. Abundance of resources. You will not be able to function well if you do not have enough resources to begin with. I quit my office job and became a DJ because this job pays better. Meeting beautiful women here and there in my job is a huge bonus too. You should also learn how to manage your finances well. Do not fall into the trap of acquiring debts just to impress women. Number 2. Relationships. I'm not just talking about relationships with women, but also with other people in your life, such as family and friends. Improving your relationship can help you become a better person. Fatherhood. If you already have a child but your relationship with the mother didn't go well, you should make sure you are a good father to your child. Women find this attractive because it shows you have a good sense of responsibility. Appearance. Always look presentable, especially when going out and meeting women. Try to stay fit by working out regularly and eating healthy food. Wear clothes that fit nicely and get a haircut and shave regularly. Number 5. Have more fun. Do not think that you need to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. Although it is important to take things seriously, you still have to remember to have fun if you want to make women see you as someone who is fun to be with. Number 6, be confident. I cannot stress this enough because confidence is like the key to everything. It can lead you to a lot of great things. Remove all self-doubt and start thinking positively about yourself. If others can do it, so can you. Whether you are trying to attract women in a club at night, at the park in the morning, or online, the quick system has helped a lot of men secure dates in the past and is proven to be effective. It is like the summary or condensed version of all the dating strategies that successful alpha males use, which is why I called it quick. It is important that you know what you need to do before you take action. You cannot just go to the girl while your fingers are crossed tightly behind your back. This is not the right time to put everything on fate or luck. You should have a plan, like this system, specially devised for men who are at a loss like you. Let's assume that you have already identified your target. What will be your next step? Use the guide below as your plan of attack. Number 1. Look at your girl with intent. You have seen this before, done by not only men but also women. The guy keeps throwing glances at the girl. Please do not stare unless you want the girl to think you are creepy. Just look at her with intent, meaning you have a purpose for looking at her. And what would that purpose be? You want to meet her or talk to her. By looking at her, you are making her aware of your presence. You are also letting her know that you are checking her out in an admiring way and not a creepy stalker kind of way. And while doing this, expect good fortune so that good fortune will come your way. Number 2, find an excuse. Any excuse will do. The music, the food, the place, etc. is great. Have you tried this, that before? This reminds me of, have we met before? What do you recommend? This is also not the time to be completely honest. Do not say, hey, I've been checking you out and I like what I'm seeing. Can we go to my place later? No matter how hot, gorgeous, or irresistible you think you are, you will still get a hard slap on your face if you say this to any girl you meet for the first time. Also, if the girl is with a group of girls, why not start a conversation with all of them? Who knows, you might just then hit it off with one of the girls. Remember that life is too short and you better be spending it trying to attract girls, because volume of girls to attract is huge. So many girls, so little time, as they say. Number 3, once the opening statement has been said, have fun. You do not need to go there with a scripted conversation in mind. Her responses might not be what you are imagining. You need to be able to sustain an interesting conversation as naturally as possible. This is why having fun while doing this is important. If you are not having fun, then the conversation that sounds natural is difficult to achieve. Just let loose, let yourself go, and go with the flow. Number 4. Use emotional spiking. Emotional spiking is done during a conversation. This is what makes conversations interesting. Boring or lukewarm conversation is the worst thing that can happen to you while talking to a girl. Negative is better than lukewarm. Play on the girl's emotions while talking to her. Talking about the weather or what she eats in the morning or any mundane topic won't make her feel excited. Talk about getting a tattoo, traveling to exotic places, or anything that will elicit an extreme reaction from the girl. You do not necessarily need to agree to everything the girl is saying because the conversation will be too boring. Opposing views and opinions make great conversations. You need to speak to her as naturally as possible, not like an interrogation. Here's how it should go. Start with a qualifying question. Have you ever thought of having a tattoo? Challenge her reply. If she says no, ask her why not. Hold the intensity. If she says tattoos do not look good as one gets older, you can say she's wrong because you have seen a lot of old women sporting a tattoo and they look cool. And finally, release the intensity or give reward. You can say she later on that she has a point, although you still believe women with tattoos still look hot. Number 5. Know more about her. The conversation shouldn't be just about using strategies to get in her pants, although it should be one of your agendas. Of course, you should have the genuine interest to find out more about her. Again, do not sound like an interviewer by asking her about her favorite color, birthday, work experience, educational background, etc. Pretty soon she'll ask you if you just want her to give you her CV. This is also the right time to share a little bit about yourself. If you open up a little, she will also be more willing to share about herself. Just be careful not to make it all about you. This may not be the time yet to share secrets, but you are getting there. However, this is the perfect time to use sexual framing. The secret ingredient to seduction. I swear by this because it works all the time. It is not enough that you are a great-looking person who has everything going for you. You should also know how to market yourself to your target audience, so to speak. While you're getting to know each other, drop comments here and there that form your sexual frame. There are several ways to frame sex. For example, commenting about sexual morals, purity or respectability is not a good frame if you want to bring the lady home with you on your first night. On the other hand, if you say statements that imply you are not judgmental and you are turned on by women who are not afraid to show their sexual desires, then you'll surely end up sleeping with her in the same bed. You should also pay attention to your gestures. Being relaxed and letting yourself loose will surely send the right messages to the girl instead of acting all proper. Touch her arms, hair, even knees or legs when you think she is ready. Believe me, sexual framing does wonders even to the least attractive guys. Number 6. Move in for the kill. Okay, this sounds like a tip for a hunter, but isn't dating a lot like hunting? It is easy if the girl is all by herself because you can just simply make your move without thinking about other people. If she is with a group of friends, however, then you need to do it a little bit differently, especially if she is with a group of girlfriends. You do not want to make the other girls feel unattractive because you chose only one of them, right? This is much easier if you are with your guy friends who can act as your wingmen. Maybe they can keep the other girls occupied while you do your thing with your target. You can also just ask her to dance if you are at a club, or walk or jog alongside her if you are outside. Number 7. Close it with sex. Whether you like to admit it or not, the ultimate goal of approaching a woman is, of course, because you like her, but also because you want to get in her pants. Lucky if you are able to do it on the same day that you met her. How can you close the conversation with sex? You cannot simply say, "So would you like to have sex with me?" after asking about her life, unless you want a big slap on your face. You have to segue smoothly. This is where sexual framing leads to. If you frame sex well sexually enough, then your conversation with a woman will end here 100%. The conversation should build up in such a way that both of you, especially her, would want to end up in each other's arms and in the same bed. So how to move into a more intimate topic like sex? At this point in your interaction, you are already past the small talk. You should already be asking questions like, what do you find attractive in a guy? Do you still remember your first kiss? Or would you sleep with someone on the first date if the connection is strong enough? Questions like these will make her feel less shy about expressing herself sexually and will make her not afraid to have sex with you. Following this system down to a T is not the only thing that you should do. If you want to become an alpha male who attracts women the way a rotten fruit attracts flies, or the way a fragrant flower attracts bees, if you want a better sounding metaphor, another really important and must-do tip is to know what you want in a girl or a girlfriend, and how to become a man that girls want, and more specifically how to become the man that the type of any girl you want wants. You cannot just go up to every girl you see and want her to become your girlfriend. As I have mentioned before, you should not be wasting your time on women whom you are not attracted to or you do not have any strong connection with. Again, this does not mean that you should be a douche to the rest of the girls who do not meet your standards. You should still be able to make all the girls you meet feel attractive, but your special efforts should be saved for those that you really like. Likewise, you should not expect girls to like you back if you do not do anything to improve yourself. If you remain the shy and unconfident man that you are, who has nothing to show for himself, then you will have nothing. You need to take actions if you want to become an alpha male who always attracts girls wherever he goes.